Finally, Rachel has been laid to rest and her autopsy result is officially out. And I must tell you guys, it's not what we thought it was. This is why an autopsy would always remain important. Because right now, I am shocked and surprised as to what actually killed this girl. And you guys would not believe it. But first, let's talk about Ogan Savage, the young man accused of killing Rachel for money rituals. He is officially out of custody and he is out here releasing music, dedicating his latest song, Innocent, to her. But the only problem is, people are calling this song insensitive because in the song, he referred to the late Rachel as the B word.
How would I even kill a bitch? I'm a dog, not a ritualist. Detain him and kill him. Coming from the family of disease. Niggas talking shit on the internet.
Clearly, he's excited for being free and being found innocent of some sort. And since the case did not go to court, it's obvious that the autopsy result was what deemed him innocent. And although his music referring to her as the B word is in poor taste, some people have come out to say that only he knew what he went through and we don't get to tell him how he's going to react to it. And I agree, because following this story, this would have turned out south for him. People wanted his head. Many people called him a ritualist. Funny enough, he was about to settle. He was about to settle the girl's family. Like, that was a conversation that was had, that he was not willing to deal with it and wanted to just pay it off so that he can get out of it. Unfortunately, when we broke the story and it went viral and people started calling him names, that was when he and his lawyers were like, you know what, we're not paying again. Let's do this autopsy. And as it turns out, the autopsy came out in his favor. Imagine if he had settled, his innocence would have still been in question. But now, let's talk about the autopsy result. What exactly did it say? What really killed Rachel? Was she pregnant? Was it ulcer? Was it a drug overdose? Or was it something else? Now look, I did not get a direct hand at the autopsy. People refused to reach out to me. Even Ogan Savage team did not give me an update on the story. So I did a little checking around and I went to Ogan's post on TikTok, one of his videos of him celebrating his freedom. And under that post, he made a comment suggesting what I think was the outcome of our autopsy results. Now, in this post dated back to February of 2025, about a month ago, which by the way, he has been out for over a month. So it's not just now he came out of prison. He has been out for over a month, enough time to make music, enough time to make videos. But in one of the videos that he posted, somebody commented, if your hand is clean, may God fight the battle. And this was his response. Too clean, that is referring to his hand. His hand is too clean. Shorty did abort a child and she was still having another baby at the back of her stomach, which ruptured and killed her. She came to me to help her, but she was still lying to me talking about ulcer. Wow. You see, that part to me was like, okay, all right. Because we all saw that the rumors were going around that she was pregnant, which was why her family wanted no part of that story. That was why they told us to take the video down. If you remember, they told me, take down the video because of that pregnancy part. And we were suspicious because her friends kept saying that she was pregnant. Some people even said she did an abortion. And shockingly, the autopsy revealed that she was pregnant and she also did an abortion. So she did not even die as a result of the ulcer, but as a result of the pregnancy that was still left in her. I don't know, is there a chance she was having twins and she was only able to abort one of it? Because I don't understand how the autopsy result revealed she had done an abortion and she was still pregnant, because that blew my mind. I was hoping one of these two, including the ulcer, would be true. I did not expect for two of them to be true, that she had an abortion and she still was pregnant. And Ogan Savage made it seem as though she kept coming to him for help, probably needing money for something, for her treatment, but she only told him it was the ulcer, not knowing it was something else. By the way, guys, if you're looking to grow your social media pages, your TikTok, Instagram, your Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, you want more followers, you want more comments, you want more likes, you want more views on your video, visit exobooster.com. I personally feel that she most likely did not know that there was still a pregnancy left in her. She may have done the abortion, which her friends who reached out confirmed, with some of them confirming she was still pregnant. So there is those two school of thought of some people who knew she was pregnant and some of her friends who knew she had aborted it. And if she had actually aborted the pregnancy, I don't think she would know. Ogan Savage, making it seem as though she wasn't truthful, she most likely was sure that the pregnancy was done. And the only condition that she would have to suffer would be the ulcer that she already had. So in her defense, she would have not have thought that it was the abortion that was causing the pain she was going through. But the thing now is, if she was indeed pregnant, did they do a DNA testing? Did they do some kind of, who is the father of the child? If she did an abortion, who would have been responsible for that pregnancy? I think that is the part that, although it's irrelevant to her death, I still think it's something that would probably paint a bigger picture, because if somebody assisted her in aborting the pregnancy and they did not do it well, wouldn't that mean they played a role in it? But I don't think anybody's going through that direction. From what one of her friends said back then, they said it was her boyfriend. And to be fair, I did reach out to her boyfriend and he said he wasn't aware of any pregnancy, even though the friend of Rachel claimed that Rachel told her that the boyfriend and her plan to keep the baby. So unless there is another boyfriend, because we have figured out that Rachel most likely had multiple boyfriends or partners per se. So allegedly, pretty much, because there were other people who claimed to have been her boyfriend. Even though we did suspect that OG1 may have been the father at the time, because we had a suspicion. But from the look of things, it's looking good for OG1 Savage. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm happy that the truth came out. I'm not specifically happy for him, but I'm happy that justice prevailed, if this is what we want to call it. Because half the time, we always expect the suspect to turn out to be the one who actually did the deed. But we have to come to a point in society where we keep an open mind to things. Innocent until proven guilty. That should remain a thing. And I think for him, he was guilty until proven innocent. And if the autopsy result came out and said that he had nothing to do with it, we would just have to accept it. Even though the girl's family feels as though that he paid it off, he paid his way out of it, I understand how that must make them feel. It's always like that. I don't think if there's conflict in such a situation where somebody's accused of killing a family member, there's always going to be that people would always stick to their opinion. The family would always think he did it, regardless of whether or not court or an autopsy result found him not to have done it. So I feel the family's grievance. I understand that they feel that he cheated and paid his way out. Another thing again as regards a family, which I will call out, is the fact that they also wanted to settle. And although they said it was only the girl's father's side that wanted to settle because the father and the mother were not together, it's still alarming, because even in his music, he did confirm what some of the suspicions that we had, where he said in his song that he was asked to marry the girl's deceased body. He was asked to marry it. And I think that has been confirmed, which means our sources was right.
Put me behind bars. Which one is married their daughter? Why? I didn't kill her. How? What the fuck, nigga?
The family did ask him to pay her bride price, marry her, follow them to the village in Delta State, and, do all the necessary rites to make her a wife. And I don't know where that would have come from. I don't know, unless they knew for a fact that he was the one responsible for the baby. He was the father of the baby in her stomach. Unless they knew for a fact, because I don't know why they would want him to do that. Maybe they still just thought he did the killing completely, so they wanted him to do all of those things. I also heard that the father of the girl really was beginning to allegedly demand money, financial compensation. But this was all before we broke the story. This was all before the story came out, which I think messed it up for the family in terms of collecting money from OG1, which Again, OG1 and his team were considering to pay, assuming the story had been silent. Now, put in mind that just because somebody settles out of court doesn't mean they are guilty. It just means they didn't want the story to go viral. The guy has a career, is a music artist. A scandal like this would stunt his success or may affect his music career. And I guess that was why they wanted to settle on the low. And the girl's family, from the father's side, allegedly, were willing to accept the money. But from the mother's side, I think they were the ones going around talking about we need justice. It was mostly the girl's mother that called him a ritualist per se, that they accused him of using her for rituals. So whereas the girl's father's side is like, okay, dial this down, keep it low. She died in your house, give us money. The girl's mother's side is like, you are a killer, you used that for ritual, it's all in your head. We saw the sisters go to his house, calling him a ritualist. They really did this boy, all the way down to the ground because they suspected him of having a hand in her death. So it was conflicting. If the mother side and the father side had agreed on one thing, they most likely would have had a fighting chance on the case. Maybe if they did not accept the autopsy results, they too would have raised money to do their own autopsy results, which I think they did. But aside that, if they had also agreed on the financial compensation, they would have most likely gotten it on a low. But since the story came out, Ogan Savage had nothing else to lose other than his reputation, and he needed to get to the bottom of it, and he needed to prove himself, and the autopsy was the only way to go. And here he is, out free and innocent for the most part. His music, he is so excited. The music he put out is a victory song for him, and I'm happy he got his freedom back. I feel bad for the girl and her family, and sometimes the outcomes are usually not what we think it would always be. And if there is anything to learn here, because going forward, things like this would still happen, and that is why an autopsy would always be important, because it clears out all the doubt. It gives you the real information. If they had quickly buried this girl, she would have been buried with the truth. And I think the family were probably aware of her abortion and the pregnancy. I think they were, because why else on the get-go, the very first day we made that video, they wanted it taken down? All because we said she was pregnant, which it turned out to be true. So we did not lie. They were the ones lying, because I recall again, the friend who told me, the friend of Rachel who told me that she was pregnant, said to me that Rachel's family knew, and she was in the house the day she texted me. She had spoken to the mother, to the sister. They were in the house with this girl who told me that Rachel was pregnant. And the autopsy has proven that she was indeed pregnant and had even done an abortion, but somehow there's still, either she did an abortion and got pregnant again. I don't even understand. Is this a cryptic pregnancy? Because what do you mean by pregnancy was at the back of her stomach? I don't understand the autopsy result, but I'm sure somebody does, and there's a medical expert out there who can give us a better explanation, because I don't know. But it's so clear that whatever killed her was very complicated, and it wasn't Ogan Savage per se. I guess this is the end of it. Is it? Will something come up again? I don't know. She has been buried. He's back on the road making music. Life goes on. It's unfortunate because now the family did not get the money that they wanted. I don't know what this would mean for his career. I shall feel he has a chance of redeeming himself because he is making his music. His fans are still there. And the truth is already officially out. He did not kill the girl. So that is something. I guess this would always be part of his storyline. And I'm happy it did not destroy him in the end. So let's see how this goes for him. We are just going to accept the outcome. Life goes on.